All right, before we get going in this video with the content, I want to say thank you to all of you who watched the last video. So about 2,000 views, which is well more than most of my videos get over the last 6 or 7 years since I've had this channel. My videos typically get about, 500 views or so. Some of them have gotten more than that for sure. But anyhow, thank you for watching. I'm happy that my theme, my message in that video resonated with so many of you. So thank you. Really appreciate that. In that video, if this is the first video you've seen from me talking right now, if you don't know what that last video was really about, I'll just give a quick synopsis. But basically, I introduced this concept of what I've been calling the last half, okay? And what that means is I'm trying to figure out how to maximize the last half of my life. I'm 50 years old. I'm well into the last half of my life, of my existence. And you know, I had fallen off track. I had allowed myself to get complacent and lazy and out of shape and blah, 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 right? A lot of details in that last video, so go watch that if you want the full story. However, in that video, I said that I would be coming back this week to announce a big goal, a big project that is going to kind of kickstart my maximizing this last half of my life and making sure that I finish strong. So today, I'm going to be announcing that big project. But first, before I do that, I've got something, unfortunately, I have to go do, but you need to come with me because we all need to do this. And I hate it. I hate every second of it, but I got to go to the gym. So come with me to the gym. We'll talk on the way, and then we'll come back and I'll get to the big announcement. Let's go. Off to the gym I go. So as part of maximizing the last half of my life, this lifelong project of mine, a major part of that is getting back into good physical shape. I've let myself go. I'm too heavy. I don't have enough muscle. I don't have enough energy. I feel like hell. This is now one of my major priorities. It should have been all along. It's painful. It is absolutely painful. I am not someone who enjoys fitness. I like being in shape when I've been in shape in the past. I like the way I feel, I like the way I look, all of that. It's obvious. It's not rocket science to suggest that if you're in better shape, then you will feel better and do better and think better and sleep better and everything, right? But life gets in the way. I allowed life to get in the way. I am on my way to the gym. I'm gonna hate every single second of it. I'm not gonna lie. This is not something where I'm gonna BS you and tell you that it's like my passion, how it enriches my life and all of that stuff, because that's just, none of that's true for me. And my struggle with fitness goes back to my teen years, my adolescence, when my father, well-meaning, he was well-meaning. He didn't want to have a lazy kid, and I think by nature I'm a sedentary person. I like to read, I like to watch movies, stuff like that. Always really been deeply into stories and story building and world building and stuff like that. Those types of activities take a lot of quiet alone time. And my father saw me spending more and more time in this make-believe world where I was either, writing stories or playing with my Star Wars toys or whatever it was back then. And this just didn't align with his worldview, which was crafted in his childhood in the 1950s, where kids played outside a lot more. And I grew up in the 70s, 80s, and 90s where we played outside all the time. He had 3 siblings, so 4 total kids in his house, and their house was tiny. It was probably 1,000 square feet, so they had to go outside. They had to get out because there was nowhere to be inside. Anyhow, my point is, my father came home one day, and I was lying flat on my back watching, I'll never forget this, I was watching Woody Woodpecker cartoons, and I was probably 12 or 13 years old. I think I was 12 or 13. For whatever reason, it just looked incredibly lazy. He came home from work, and I was sitting there just giggling at a cartoon. I was way too old to be watching cartoons at that point in his eyes. He told me to get up, go put on my tennis shoes. And he death marched me for 5 miles running around a park that we lived across the street from. If you're from Fresno, Woodward Park, you know what it is. And that forever changed my life in good and bad ways. I thought it was a one-day event. I thought he just had to get it out of his system, prove a point, you know, punish me, make me walk around this park. I was literally crying. My feet were basically raw hamburger at the end because I'd never moved my body that far, ever. You know what we did the next day? 5-mile run. You know what we did the next day? 5-mile run. You know what we did the next day? 5-mile run. That went on until I graduated high school. Basically forced into incredible shape, joining the cross-country team, joining the track and field team, and I was good at it. I was really good at it. But it came from really hard work and intense pressure from my father. But the reason I bore you with that story is because I have had a lifelong aversion, fear, distaste for physical fitness because it started off for me in my adolescence as a punishment. That persisted for 4 years of daily pressure from my father. Now again, he was well-intentioned. He didn't want to raise a lazy kid. I don't blame him, you know, especially from his generation. little bit old school. My kids think I'm old school now, which is funny. Psychologically, it messed with my mind, and I'm a 50-year-old man, almost 51-year-old man, half of my life over, and I'm still struggling with this. I'm still struggling with it. As I announced in my kickoff video to this series, this vlog video series about maximizing the last half of our lives together, this is what I'm doing. I'm forcing myself. I got my bag packed, my gym bag packed, so I've got my laptop, change of clothes. I'm gonna go to the gym and I'm gonna get it done today. And then I'm gonna sit and I'm gonna work on my creative projects as I've committed to, because that's what we do when we make a commitment. Now that we've decided to reinvent ourselves, to re-kickstart our life. There are very few cities I've been to that are more fun for walking around and exploring than Shanghai. I've lived here since 2017. I still love walking the streets on my way to do things, like on my way to the gym right now. It's just so much fun. People are everywhere, getting on with their day, hanging out, seeing friends, doing their laundry. It's just vibrant and fun. A lot of my friends and family back home think I'm insane for living in China this long, and they just don't get it. They don't understand. It's amazing. It's just a cool place to live. And I know that many people, especially a lot of you Westerners, a lot of you Americans, think that I'm biased somehow or that it's actually a terrible place. And look, some terrible stuff happened during COVID, I'm not gonna lie. That 3-month lockdown was brutal here in Shanghai. I was not happy. I was super pissed. Everywhere has their negatives, you know? Every country does their dumb shit. The United States does plenty of terrible, dumb things. I'm almost to the gym, so I'm gonna get in there, get the workout done, no matter how much I'm gonna hate every minute of it, no matter how painful it is, and then I'm gonna get on with the rest of my day. I'm dreading it, but I'm gonna do it. I'm hyping myself up. You guys are my hype squad. You guys are my hype team right now. I'm gonna keep each other accountable, because I absolutely despise it. Just left the gym as predicted. It's painful. A really annoying thing about the gym I go to is that for whatever reason, I'm not sure they planned it. They probably didn't plan it, obviously, but I am by far the most out of shape person at the gym. I don't know if they allowed me to join because of my wife, but everyone is in good shape. In fact, nobody needs this gym except me. Now I'm sure, hopefully, there are some people like me, but not when I go, not at the times that I go. The other annoying thing is when I go to get my locker, you know, I try to pick a row where there's nobody already standing, it doesn't look like there's any wet footprints, you know. Mind my own business. Well, when I go to change after working out, I'm tired, I'm sweaty, I'm a mess, getting ready to shower. Well, I guess all the male models in Shanghai decided to pick the locker aisle that I had picked. So there I am, you know, getting out of my clothes. I look like a lumpy ball of Play-Doh, and this dude looks like he was chiseled from granite or titanium or some other precious metal or hard stone. His muscles had muscles, really boosted my ego, really made me feel awesome. So yeah, that was mildly depressing. But that's okay, gives me something to work towards. So the reason I share that is that if I can get my pudgy ass to the gym today and stand there in a towel next to basically naked Ryan Gosling, you can too. Your ego's gonna hurt. It's gonna make you feel like shit for 5 minutes. Then you shake it off and you remind yourself that, you know, at least you got something in. You got a workout in. You feel 1% better, 0.5% better, whatever, it doesn't matter. If I can do it, you can do it. So now I'm gonna go meet up with Sophia. She's up here, some of this really cool building that's near our apartment. And I'm searching for Sophia. It's a lot of stairs to get up there, so I told her I was on the first floor. Hopefully she comes down and meets me, because after the gym, I don't want to climb 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 flights of stairs. Do not want to do that. Ah, there she is.
Hey vlog, how's everyone doing today? It's sophiamast, the coolest person ever.
All right, so we're gonna do an impromptu photo shoot because we have to make use of our time. All right, so while we wait, we're gonna take some photos in this alley. If they're good, I guess I'll share them. I don't know, we'll see. But yeah, we're gonna work in this direction here. Well, that was super productive. Met up with Sophia. She was out filming a video, and we met up, took some photos, get to hang out, get to be creative together. The family that creates together stays together. That's my new motto. Did you get it?
Anyways, I have more important matters to talk about right now.
What are we talking about? All right, this is super important. We have to get this out of the way. So Sophia has recently started watching Game of Thrones. She's old enough now, and she's got some stuff she wants to get off her chest. So if you've seen Game of Thrones, let's listen to some of the commentary. She's very upset.
The whole episode was a battle? I could not take that.
What episode?
The season 8. It was with all the White Walkers.
Okay.
It was so bad. It was so scary.
Do you like it?
Yeah, it's good.
It's a great show, right?
Mm-hmm.
Nobody's safe in Game of Thrones.
No, it's not.
All right, so back from the gym earlier in the day, met up with Sophia, took some pictures as you guys saw. Now I'm showered and ready to go for my evening routines. But as promised, we're going to get to the big announcement. Now, I appreciate you guys sticking through this video, but I want you to try to start to see what I'm planning for this series. And some of it will be vlog style. Some of it will be talking like this. Some of it will be more concept or maybe tutorials around certain things. And you'll understand here in a moment. So here's the big goal. If some of you know me, if you followed me for a while, you know that I'm really interested in books and writing. It's one of my deepest loves, one of my deepest passions in life is reading a great book, but then also writing. And I've been involved with writing since I was a kid, quite honestly. Always was writing stories, always was getting in trouble at school for writing stories instead of listening to my schoolwork. I'd make like little comic books with my friends, stuff like that. Basic stuff. I attempted to write my first novel in high school. Junior high school. And I remember running home from school and sitting down in front of our old original Macintosh. We're talking circa 1984 style Macintosh. It was many years after that when we got it. But, and I would come home after school and I would sit there and I would just write. I would just peck. I didn't know how to type. And I would just peck out my little story. And I've been doing that in some way ever since. I'm 50 years old and I have always tinkered with writing. I optioned a screenplay many years ago and, it never got made, obviously, or else I would be working in Hollywood. But I got paid for my writing. I've been paid a couple other times. I published a novel a few years ago under a pseudonym for a very specific reason, and maybe I'll make a video on that, actually. But, at this point, I need to be anonymous on that book, but I can explain why, maybe in a future video, outside the scope of this topic. So I want to be a writer. I've always wanted to be a writer. I am a writer, meaning I write, right? In fact, I'm a writer. Here's just some of the stuff I've done lately. Okay? Screenplay, short screenplay, novel. So you guys know I'm not bullshitting. It's all pages filled. Novel. Nonfiction book. Sorry. Another nonfiction book. So I write all the time. I'm always working on something. So what I want to announce here is I am embarking on a challenge to write 2 books at the same time. And I'm going to write a nonfiction book and I'm going to write a fiction book. And I'm going to pursue not just the goal of writing in public, meaning I'm going to be making videos to update you along the way, show you the process, maybe talk a little bit about the specifics of the story if it's appropriate, some of the tools and tips I use, some of the struggles, some of like my research topics, my outlining topics, anyways, all that kind of stuff revolving around me trying to figure out how to write these 2 books at the same time. Maybe I'll work on one day, one on the next day. I'm breaking all I'm breaking all famous writers' recommendations on this. Pretty much everybody says just focus on one project at a time. But what I have found is that I run out of steam on certain types of topics. So if I'm writing like a nonfiction type book like this one here, I might run out of steam. I might run out of passion for that topic. So I want to switch then to fiction and tell more of, like a creative type story. So I'm going to be alternating back and forth on these 2 big projects. And at the end of it, I'm going to pursue some sort of publication. Now, that could be traditionally published and, seeking agents and publishers and editors and all that kind of stuff. Or depending on what happens and how I feel about the projects at the end, I might do independent publishing, formerly known as self-publishing. And there's pros and cons to both of them for sure. And that'll be part of the process too, is taking you guys along, taking this, risk, I guess. It's not really a risk because I write anyways, but to put it out there in the world, to actually share it with you guys, and not just the finished product. I've done that before. Like I said, I published a novel in 2020. So I've done that before, about 1,000 people bought it, not a lot. But 1,000 people have read that story. So I guess that's cool. And so I've done it before, but the point is I'm going to be doing it live. I'm going to be doing it over the next year, probably longer, in a series of these videos where I'll be sharing everything that I go through. And I realize that some of you are not going to be interested in writing or books or anything like that. That's totally fine. This is not a writing channel necessarily. But what I want you to focus on is the fact that I'm setting a big, difficult, complex, scary goal well into my adult life, in the last half of my life. That's the whole theme we're going after here, is this last half, and maximizing it and doing cool things and doing scary things. And hopefully, as I share what I go through, that might apply to some other goal, some other medium, some other art, some other project, some other whatever, some other dream that you have, that maybe you can apply some of the lessons, maybe not the specifics. You know, if you want to build your dream house by hand, a log cabin in the Pacific Northwest using only, a hammer and one saw, like that's your dream, let's just say. Well, you're not going to probably need to take my outlining tips or what writing software I use, right? But it's the motivation, it's the inspiration, it's the thought process and the mindset of setting difficult goals for yourself. Not listening to that little head that we talked about in the last video, where society, your family, your parents tells you can't do it, you're too old to start, it's stupid, no one will ever buy it, no one will ever read it, you're not a good enough writer, on and on and on and on. That self-critical echo is bullshit. It doesn't matter. Get over that. We're going to get over it together is my point. So that's the big goal. I'm going to be writing 2 books at the same time, one fiction, one nonfiction. I'm not sure how much of the specifics I'm going to share right away because these projects are still new and I'm really just still in the outlining, thinking, planning phase. So I probably won't get too specific in the beginning. It'll be focused more on mindset, goals, process, updates, stuff like that. Deeper in, later, as I start finishing the projects or they start to take some sort of a shape, then yes, possibly I will definitely give you a synopsis, the topics, maybe what I'm pushing towards. And then, hopefully, it'll be published at some point. These books will be published, they'll be out in the world, and you can read them if you like. So that's the big announcement. Thank you for watching. Each week I'll be posting some sort of an update. It may not be long, it might just be really short, and I'm still going to continue this channel in the other topics that I get into, travel, mindset. You'll see still those types of videos on this channel, but they will now be interspersed with this project, this life goal, this crazy, challenging goal that I've set for myself. And hopefully I learn a lot. Hopefully I accomplish what I've set out to do. And hopefully you get inspired and learn something that you can apply to your life on how you can maximize whatever half you're in of your life. We'll talk next week. Wait. Before you go, please, if you don't mind, hit the subscribe button. And I know every freaking YouTuber says this, but they say it for a reason. It's important. It lets the algorithm know, the almighty God of the digital world, that you like this video, you got something out of it, and that you are supporting me. You're telling the algorithm that, hey, this is a quality dude. This is great content. This is interesting, whatever. Subscribe, like, I really appreciate it.